I have been like the biggest advocate for E3 dating back to the origins of this channel, where I always dreamed that one day my YouTube channel would be big enough that I could be invited there as some sort of like creator or special guest or whatever. Well, that didn't happen. And E3 kind of dissolved over the last few years, and it's been an interesting evolution or de-evolution, depending on how you want to look at it. So I did get to go when E3 was cool, back when it was fun, the first couple years via the Xbox Fan Fest, where I got to actually go to the event and see some of the new games and the infamous behind closed door demonstrations, and to feel like I was part of an industry that has really defined my life in terms of hobbies, at least since ever. So I'm grateful for that experience. Those days are long gone. In its place, we now have this interesting hybrid of digital, virtual, we don't know you all what we want it to be event in E3, which will take place this year, June 11th through 16th, once again at the Los Angeles Convention Center, a mere 102 days away. So it was interesting to me that leading up to this event, both Sony and Nintendo had announced they were not going to be participating. Microsoft will most likely hold their traditional event inside the Microsoft Center, which is literally across the street. So I don't think it's a big news story there that Microsoft isn't going to be involved, at least in the show floor proper. But it was interesting to me today that they finally unveiled the website. So if you are going to try to hype people up for this event, this is the first time you're going to see any official information from the E3 Expo proper. Then this site better knock your socks off, because most of us have felt leading into this that maybe this event wasn't going to be that great. And it's kind of dialing it in. And yes, we are in a post-COVID environment, and maybe it's going to take a few years for it to get its footing. And maybe in a few years it's going to be amazing, but this isn't going to be that year. Well, let's see if the website can convince you otherwise. When you log in, the event, you log into the website rather, the Business of Gaming Events is back. All right. So we got a little countdown here. We got a little sizzler reel in the background of people laughing and playing the latest games. So they are offering tickets again for both industry and for gamers. Well, okay, if you wanted to plan a vacation out there like I did many, many times, flying from Orlando to Los Angeles, putting in a time off request, getting a hotel, getting airfare, getting a rental car, all that stuff, it's going to take a little time to plan. So let's see how much the tickets cost for me to participate. Oh, well, coming soon. Okay. Well, maybe strike one on the website. Okay. We're still kind of sorting out, what the tickets are going to cost. We don't know yet. Maybe $100. We don't know. At least we got the date. That's good. So let's go over to the show info and let's see what the schedule is. So remember in E3 events before, Jeff Keighley had broken off a lot of the stuff into the Coliseum of Comics, or Coliseum of Comics, the Gaming Coliseum. I do like the Coliseum of Comics, by the way. Shout out. That's a really cool store. He did break off to the Coliseum, where he had lots of roundtable discussions and all that stuff. Well, that has since faded away. But let's see what E3 has scheduled for this year to see what they are going to be showing. Well, okay. This is some information. It's going to be all digital all the time. The business days, which are most likely going to be reserved for industry. That's going to be where the actual meetings occur, where negotiations happen. Hey, we want your game publisher. Hey, we want to procure items to put on our store shelf. Hey, we want to get a press conference of behind closed door of a hot project or some collaboration between two companies. That is what the business days are going to be reserved for. In terms of if you wanted to fly out there and see everything with your own eyes and put your hands on the controller, so to speak, you're going to get 2 days to do that. You're going to get Thursday and you're going to get Friday. Well, okay, maybe then the idea of flying out there goes out the window because you are going to be very limited. I don't imagine people are going to fly out there for just 2 days to see anything, but this is what they are announcing. And they said that they will have more digital showcases that will be going on during that week. Stay tuned. If Microsoft, if Sony, if Nintendo decide to play ball, they may not, you would expect an E3 branded, so to speak, event occurring then for the State of Play or the Nintendo Direct or whatever it happens to be. Most likely, Nintendo and Microsoft will, or I'm sorry, Nintendo and Sony rather, will stick to their own schedule, and they will most likely do their own thing, which means it will not be branded during this digital time. But hey, maybe it will. So as you start clicking through some of the events and information to see what's going on, you can see that it's a pretty standard convention. They do end a bit early every day. So if you are deciding to go, you're going to get 16 hours. That's 8 hours the first day and 8 hours the second day to go experience all the wonderful things that the convention has to offer. Let's go ahead and take a look at the map and see who is going to be there. Well, that is still to be determined. And you can see that they have business areas and business consumer areas. So the business areas will be dedicated for those conference level discussions, the more, like I said, the negotiation side of it, where actual businesses show up to demonstrate their wares, show off their new graphics engine, their new sound processors, to get actual collaboration kind of working between the industry. The gamer section will be limited to what you see in green. That is where the actual show floor will be. And note that it is going to take place in the South Hall, which is definitely a smaller area. And I remember going to E3 years ago where you would walk through the whole West Hall. It would take you at least a day, and then you'd walk across this long walkway to reach over to the South Hall, where even more stuff was. South Hall was typically reserved for stuff that wasn't like as exciting, but obviously that's very subjective. Needless to say, the footprint is going to be very, very small for the consumer area. So they have taken that footprint and shrunken it down considerably to just one of the two halls where they had it before. If you are interested, there is a whole media and creators registration. If you think that you have what it takes to get in and get some sort of press pass, you can go through this long list of information and fill out what you want to do. I have seen in the past, they are very, very strict on what the criteria is to get in. I, for many years, have tried to cover it back when I was writing news articles, when I started my YouTube channel. They don't really seem interested in you unless you are like a major influencer, which I am most certainly not major anything except a major pain in the ass. However, if you think you have what it takes and you're interested in covering it, this will be a very, very different event. I suspect a lot more kind of returning back to normal. It's going to be much more open. It will not be nearly as packed. I suspect the announcements will not have that hype level they did before. You're not going to have these larger-than-life exhibits like the year that Nintendo unveiled Super Mario Odyssey, where they converted their whole showroom into New Donk City, or when Spider-Man came out and they had a giant display of Spider-Man using webs to hold a helicopter in the air, or when Capcom unveiled Monster Hunter or Final Fantasy from Square Enix. I doubt you're going to get that level of wow. You might, but I suspect this is going to be more along the lines of like science fair, like middle school projects with the like cardboard, the trifold cardboard things, and card tables, maybe like a display or two with like a laptop plugged in running some Sizzler reel. I don't suspect you're going to get that wow factor. I definitely don't think you're going to get what they're showing in the back of this image here, where there's going to be tons of people playing and, Pikachu's going to be, I don't think it's going to be nearly this dense. I think it's going to be significantly smaller. And I want to be wrong. I really want to be wrong, but I think that's where we're at. So in terms of, did E3 put on their best foot forward in this website? Well, I'll let you guys be the judge on that. I think you know my opinion, but I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. Sound off. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.